Listen, family, I have to be honest with you. This is probably going to be a sensitive topic for some and a real life topic for others. See, the role of project management can be rewarding, yet it can also be challenging. The points that I'm going to unpack today are what project management, or I should say, project managers face, yet sometimes is overshadowed the satisfaction that derives from the role. What that means is, family, is that sometimes that we don't articulate out to people that are thinking of coming into this profession or thinking about leaving this profession that I love, that I hope you fall in love with, called project management. If you're new to the channel, I go by the name of ED. For all you smart and intelligent folks out there, listen, that just simply means Ed. I have an 8-point framework. In these 8 points, I plan on unpacking today's title, which is entitled, Does Anyone Actually Enjoy Being a Project Manager? Again, does anyone actually enjoy being a project manager? As I told you, family, there's two sides of this. There's the reward side and there's the challenge side. The challenge side, today I feel like this is really going to be very transparent for those who are thinking about getting into it. Do you mind if I share a story with you? I thought about getting into insurance. Okay, that's a lie. I did get into insurance, and I went and did an internship during while I was in college. And what happened is during this internship, I quickly realized that what they were telling me from the books and the theories, and then actually working the thing really live, this is probably not going to be the profession for me. I loved the theories. I loved about what insurance stood for, but when the area I was working in was claims, and there was a lot of challenges that I was seeing, and I felt frustrated that I couldn't help the customer more. I couldn't provide more value, and that just irritated me. So I said, hey, this is probably not the role for me. So today, when I unpack these points, I want to emphasize the point of knowing that just because these things happen, that doesn't mean that you can't actually live it and breathe it and do this thing called project management. It's just the thing that most project managers won't share some of the information that I'm going to share with you today. But here's the caveat, this is how we attack it. We have strategies in place, or what I like to call actionable steps, in which we can address these things. Point number one, feeling underappreciated. Listen, project managers may feel that their contributions are overlooked, misjudged, no, overlooked, especially in successful completion of projects. One of the things I recommend that you do as an actionable step is to seek feedback and recognition for your project success, not just from your supervisor, but also from your peers, because this allow to actually help and assist you. Because I can understand you've been leading this project and you have a success, meaning you finish this project within the triple constraints, on time, under budget, or under budget or on budget, within scope, as well as with a beautiful quality aspect looking to it. So, meaning what I'm saying by that, family, is the ability to really meet the triple constraints and do extremely well with the people piece of things as well, that they want you to come back and lead other projects. However, sometimes you can feel that underappreciation. How do you deal with it? So the actionable step that I recommend to you today, don't start till tomorrow, but you can start today, is seek feedback and recognition from your peers as well as your leaders. Hey, family, I really truly appreciate you taking the time out to watch these episodes. Make sure you hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, what is you waiting for? I'll give you a minute. No, I'll give you 10 seconds. Ready, go. Subscribe though, family, and again, all your support means a lot to us, and share this with other future or present project managers. Point number two, administrative burden. What does that mean, ED? Well, the time that you have to spend on administrative tasks, like you may have to dig deeper on your project schedule, making sure that your milestone and tasks are aligned in the direction. You may have to go back and revisit your communication plan. You may have to go look at your risk register, your issue log. So the administrative aspect of things. And one of the other things is the meeting recaps. I could probably do a whole series or a whole episode on just meeting recaps. And what tends to happen is that project managers, there's a difference between, I always say that there's a difference between being used and misused. As a project manager, we have to understand when we're being misused. When someone is inviting you to a meeting, that and what they're looking for you is just, oh, because you're the project manager, you could take notes and document and get everything organized. Yes, you can, but is this related to the project that you're working on? I've been pulled in projects that is not even my project, and you find yourself like, why am I taking the notes, or why am I doing that's a whole nother rant that I can go down. But the importance of it is, though, family, is when you are with the administrative burden, you have to understand the ability to streamline your administrative processes and using automation. I'll slow that down again. Using automation tools where possible, because if not, you will eventually get burned out from the administration aspect of things. Point number three, where I see a lot of project managers, new, existing people that have been in this project management game for a long time, is the difficulty in engaging stakeholders. Stakeholders is your bread and butter. Stakeholders are the ones that are really going to make or break your project. I wish I could give it to you something more lighter, something more easier to digest, but this is the truth. When you have difficult stakeholders, you will find yourself in a uphill battle. But how you address that is, we're going to look at a strategy. Developing a communication plan tailored. The word tailored meaning basically customized to each stakeholder's preferences and needs. I know that's a lot of work. I know I'm asking more of you, but you didn't sign up just to be average. You signed up to be exceptional. Well, maybe I hope that's what you signed up for when you chose this particular career. So what I'm saying to you, family, is that you may have to put together a customized communication plan for your stakeholders, that are especially the ones that you're having challenges with. And here, let me park here too. Why are we having these challenges with the stakeholders? There may be something that they may have experienced with another project manager, or maybe they just don't like you. I don't know what the point I'm trying to drive is. You have to get to the root. I've dealt with difficult stakeholders, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like it. It's frustrating. It's irritating, because it's like, we're all here to do a job. Why are you making the job? Why are you making the project harder than it has to be? What do you need, or do we just need to get rid of you? I've gotten rid of stakeholders if they became to a point where it's been unmanageable, meaning unmanageable as far as they are taking away the spotlight and the direction on the team is going. That's when I take it personally, because now you're messing with the team at a point of you're getting them distracted. When you get the team distracted, now everybody's all over the place, and it looks bad on you as the leader of that. So what I recommend, again, is developing a communication plan that's tailored around each stakeholder preferences, scheduling regular updates, and utilizing persuasive communication techniques to emphasize the importance of their input. What does that look like? Because I know people are like, what do you mean persuasive communication techniques? One of the things that I do is, when there's a problem that we need to solve collectively, that we need to solve, I don't go in my silo, and meaning go by myself to go and solve it. I come to the team and say, hey team, we have this problem. I'm going to go around the room, and I want to get feedback of how everyone think we should solve this problem. I collect all of that feedback. Once we get that feedback, and then we say, hey, let's vote on what are the top three or the top four ways to solve this problem. Now people are getting involved. Now people now, as they say, they have skin in the game, and meaning that now that they're more interested in solving the problem, because this is what they said that they wanted to use to solve the problem. So family, we have to understand of getting our stakeholders more involved. Point number four, there's a risk of burnout. What does that mean? Sometimes when you work high pressure, or you work in a high pressure environment, and you're working a high pressure type project with constant deadlines, it can lead to you getting burnt out. How do you ensure, if you work in these environments, that you still continue to keep moving forward? I recommend being able to implement regular self assessments. Check in with yourself. Simple. Check in. Hey, how am I feeling today? Am I feeling, also when I get to that point as well, here's one of the things I do. I go for a walk, whether it's a walk on a treadmill, whether it's a walk around the neighborhood, whether it's a walk in nature, a walk. Because to me, again, this is what I use, not saying that's what you have to do. You need to experiment. What happened? You should be able to learn yourself when you're getting into a stressed out environment like that, or you're stressed out. What could I use to help me along the journey? Meditation is another good thing. Maybe you like journaling. I'm throwing some ideas out there, family, because this is not a one size fit all. I don't want us to get caught up in that. I want you to go out there and experiment to see what works. Point number 5, constant pressure to perform. You may be, again, going back to what I talked about the earlier point about the risk of burnout. You may be in an environment that the expectation to meet project goals and under budget within time constraints, basically meeting the triple constraints. There can be relentless pressure on that. So you have to understand. Here's a tip: being able to celebrate small wins and learn from each project to build the necessary confidence and resilience. Those are really going to be your foundation. Having the confidence, yet still being resilient in these types of things. Here's an actionable step that I recommend as well: is being able to set personnel and project goals that are challenging, yet you have an opportunity to reach them. I don't want to say that yet are achievable, but you have an opportunity. And when you have that opportunity, now you're breaking that limited belief that we've talked about here before. Point number 6, uncertainty and flexibility in demands. One of the things I've noticed as with project managers, they must often navigate the changes in scope, which really now this means is a change in direction. This can be challenging if you don't have a project manager that has a growth mindset or is willing to be adaptable, as well as the stakeholders that project manager is leading. If they're like, well, no, we've always done it that way. Now you have a battle that you have to put out, or a fire to put out, to say, well, understood, we've always done it that way, but look at those results and look at potential what we can achieve over here. So we must be willing, when we get that type of feedback, when people say, well, we've always done it this way, to be able to have the courage to change that mindset and say, hey, we're taking a different route. Let's go ahead and experiment to see if this will work. And also, what you could do to add on that is develop strategies for managing change and uncertainty within projects. Get a buy-in from the team, like I talked about earlier. Get their feedback. Say, like I told you about, if there's a problem, and you get all of the team to give solutions to that problem. Do the same thing with the uncertainty piece. Hey guys, how would you guys like us to, if uncertainty comes up, or if we have to be flexible, let's talk about from the communication aspect. How would you guys like for us to how would you like that communication to be sent to everybody, or for everybody to get on the same page? Get the feedback from everybody. Okay, now we have the communication. What about the execution? Now the plan has changed. How do we want to update that? So you just break it down piece by piece, and this gives you an opportunity to actually get everybody back on the same page. Point number 7, difficulty of getting tasks done. Listen, one of the things is, especially if you ever been like me and you've had to juggle multiple projects and you're keeping track of all the tasks, it can be challenging. I'm not even gonna lie to you. And making sure everything is on time can lead to very much a frustrating project manager, and even a more frustrated stakeholders, excuse me. So actionable steps is utilizing project management tools and prioritizing tasks, as well as, one of my favorite is being able to streamline workflows and delegate. I do mean delegate where it's possible. If there's tasks that are smaller, and you have someone on the, delegate, please, because if you don't, and you try to take on the Superman complex, or try to believe you can do it all on yourself, you will eventually burn yourself out. Let's move on to point number 8. Point number 8, that as a project manager, is it really worth being in this thing that I love, that you love, that I hope that you love, called project management? Frequent crisis management. What does that look like? You may see unforeseen issues and emergencies that could be draining and reduce job satisfaction. There may be something that comes up around the schedule. You had a resource that made a commitment to execute, and then they leave the organization, and now there's no one to backfill them. So now you're trying to put all these pieces together from people that may be able to assist with people just trying to figure it out, and it can be challenging, family. So what I recommend as a tip is regular review of project schedules, project plans, and just basically having something in place to potentially look at for any unforeseen issues. So you should always be thinking forward thinking. And like what I always say, always using a windshield approach to when you're leading these projects, but also keeping a rear view mirror to be able to look back and see what you've come through in previous and even your current project. My bonus for today, family, is navigating, or I should say, yeah, navigating organizational politics. This is going to be very interesting because you have to manage relationships. That's one of the key aspects of project management is your ability to manage relationships while you're navigating the politics within the organization. Can be taxing, and it can distract and detract from the enjoyment of being a project manager because you're like, why can't you just execute on the thing you've already made a commitment to do? Why do I got to keep following up and doing extra and just going? It's just part of the job. And when you get a great team, you won't have to do those things. But in the meantime, in between time, this is what it calls. So remain neutral, stay focused on project objective, use your understanding of the organizational dynamics to anticipate and mitigate any potential issues. Listen, family, I want to be upfront again and honest with you. If you stayed this long, I'm going to give you, here are my closing remarks. Does anyone actually enjoy being a project manager? I do. I enjoy being it very much. But with any profession, there's going to be some ups and downs. With any profession, there are going to be some challenges that we have that we may not have been prepared for. But you have to understand when you step into a career, you are stepping into something where you're saying, I'm willing to be obsessed with this career. I'm willing to be able to be stretched in this career and be uncomfortable. And if you're not, then maybe this is not the career for you. You may need to do something else. And like I shared with you about insurance, I thought for sure, yep, I'm going to insurance. And I started looking at the pockets of insurance. And the first place I started with was claims. And I realized quickly this may not be for me. And I was able uh, to take that stance and do it. And maybe you think project management is not for you, and then you go do something else, and then you realize maybe I didn't give project management enough chance. So you have to figure that out and along in your journey because sometimes we can get caught up in the destination of getting certified, can get caught up in the destination of actually finally transitioning from a project coordinator to a project manager, or even just becoming a project coordinator. But we don't understand this is when you get in this thing called project management, this is a journey. This is not a destination, meaning that you're going to have to continually to get better as things change. And the only thing I ask of you is to get 1% better. Until next time, this has been your boy ED, and I'm out.